Football, Hotbed.com. Coach Pierre, Senatus, head coach, Miami Southridge. Big time state contender, FHSA coach. A game away last year. We talked to some of the players. A lot of disappointment, but, as Cam said, realized they weren't focused, they weren't disciplined, playing around in the late room, all kind of, other times. Now it's like, hey, man, last play we came up short. It did a lot for them. What did it do for you as a coach?
You said the word. It started with a D. You said disappointment. I think that led to discipline. We talked about immaturity and just, God's children as they go through the process comes in two ways, either through experience or through vision. I think that gave us both. We had the experience of the loss. Now we have the vision to see the pothole in the road before it comes. So I think that just the growth of these kids is just incredible. The growth within the staff, the growth within the kids and community. And, a young man like you just talked about, Cameron Wilson, a 3-year kid, came in as an 8th grader, one of the top kids in the community, played right there at Cannonball, walks across, through the fence at a youth program, walks into Southridge High School where his parents graduated from. A young man like Ryan, 8th grader, took him to his first camp as an 8th grader, says, will I ever be a college athlete? Now it's one of the top college, preseason college athletes. Again, walks through the hallways of Miami Senior South High School, 3-year starter, going to be a 4-year starter. And that's going to be different. That's homegrown, it's player-driven, disciplined. Discipline, the grind, it's a daily grind from track to wrestling to football to 7-on-7 to youth camps to our coaches doing events at Hotbed and coaching Little League and youth program. It grinds. Our coaches are on every park, in every classroom. We have 8 men in the building every single day pouring into these kids. So I think as you continue to multiply that investment, the rewards will come to fruition.
You talk about it. I mean, not to get so Hotbed related, but your coaches get that extra development, that extra growth when they come to University of Miami and coach with us at the National Middle School Hotbed Showcase. They go to Atlanta and they coach with us in the freshman, sophomore, and junior Hotbed Showcase games. Those added values, what can that do for staff? When they're coaching in games that like an all-star games, like a middle school game with Hotbed.
You talk about being a national brand. You can talk it or you can live it. To truly live it, it means every single day is football focused. So if you're not focused on the youth, and again, we still believe we're one of the few community-grown programs where our quarterback's a 3-year guy, our line are 3-4-year guys. You go up and down our roster, those kids checked in as 8th graders and are still there. Our junior varsity program plays the top junior varsity programs in the counties to make sure that they're battle tested when they come to varsity. Obviously, we have kids that transfer in, but why those kids come to Southridge? In the state of Florida, it gives you the rights with all the we have great magnets, great non-traditional, great parochial schools. Why pick Miami Southridge to play football at? It's because they know those coaches are truly giving the most they can get to that player. They're going to invest in them mentally, physically, and spiritually. They're going to have the talent and skill set from their experiences, from seeing things at Hotbed, from seeing things at a coaching clinic, from things from youth football, from their life experience to pour into those kids. So those connection points are value to us. And our coaches realize that, our community realize that, and you're seeing it come to fruition when you see all the offers, all the production, all the growth in our student athletes, the time, and then when you put them out on Friday night, wow, look at the skill set of this kid that nobody had a radar on in youth football. All of a sudden, he's now a Division I athlete. And because of the connection with the brands that we have, and Hotbed is absolutely one of them.
Brand connection is important. It's important to connect on the field, quarterback, receiver, tight end. You got some new pieces in. What are you most excited about as far as, I know you're a defensive coach, but offensively, what you guys are going to do this year?
I think offense should be explosive. We talk about envision it, write it down, write your goals down, manifest it. We're talking about 500-yard games. We're watching some Oklahoma cut up, and we saw this kid called Baker Mayfield, and he's throwing 500 yards in college. Why not you, James Ferron? You're a 3-year Southridge kid. You're only going to be a junior, but all the weapons and tools, the outstanding offensive line that sleep together, eat together, what a brotherhood they have, what a union they have, that are healthy, that are flourishing, are growing. They haven't even seen the best of this offensive line. Can you imagine you coming out of your first progression, second progression, and with some of the most electric receivers in the county you're throwing to. And you saw that showcase this summer with all the 7-on-7. We're in the final 2 and 4 in every single 7-on. If we didn't win it, we were the runner-ups in every single one this year. And that's just a small microcosm of our offense. Now you put that offensive line, you bring a Proctor in, a 4-5-star, 6'5" tight end. You bring a Doctor in, another 6'4", tight end, incoming freshman. You have a Wilson that can come into a 12-13. We have so many things that we can do, from our personnel groupings to speed with a Jakari Johnson who's uncoverable right now. And there's one weapon, a Jackson that comes in. Why does a Jackson come in from South Dade? A weapon that every team in the county relishes this particular skill set. Why come to Miami Southridge and transfer in and move into the neighborhood and move into the school and go through the grind and come and compete at this particular program, because you know how talented this office can be. So we're blessed to have those young men. I don't want to name it too many because you leave too many out, but you're seeing the growth of those kids. You saw it this summer, you saw it this spring, and wait until you see it in pass this year. Our offense is going to be electric, but you're not going to score against this defense. Last year we averaged 10.5 a game, which is too high, and that's including special teams scores and offensive scores and playoff, and we played all the way to the state quarterfinals, but it ended up averaging 10.5 per game. And I think with the amount of depth that we have and the amount of the time they put in the growth, you talk about Wilson, how was 6'4", 235 pounds. You talk about Ryan, that still goes both ways. He was a 3-year tackle. Now transitioning to the offensive line, is coming in at 6'4", 305 pounds solid. And those guys are on. That's your high school offensive lineman. And not to say size is everything. We've been at programs. You've showcased many programs where it's not about the size of it. It's the fight of the dog. But we got dogs that love to fight. But they're putting time into the weight room. They have some God-given abilities that check the box, and we have some great kids in our community from Ghouls and Perrine that want to come in. When you have Bobby Doctor that's coming in at 6'4", 225 pounds, and Antonio Wilcher, who's going to be a sophomore this year, who's 6'2", 290 pounds. You have a Martell Shannon, incoming freshman, that you showcased on your platform many a times that we saw as 7th graders and 8th graders on the Hotbed platform come to fruition and continue to grow, who's now 6'3", 300 pounds, D-tackle, playing on the defensive line, not including other guys that we've developed, like an Albert Stevenson, who's now 6'2", 215-pound rush in, stand-up middle linebacker playing rush in. We have basketball kids that traditionally wouldn't have come out for football that are now coming out. We have an Ethan coming in, or Mark. Like, the amount of bodies and talent and skill sets that whatever you could throw at us, we can throw back at you with depth. And so it's not predicated on one particular person, unfortunately. At times we didn't have the depth to make those runs. We didn't have the depth to fight through and suffocate teams and bury teams. I think this year, the belief in each other, the belief in letting everybody have their time, the belief in doing your job, and taking pride in doing your job, we see it every single day. And we talk about grind. Every day is football. Every day is a grind. From sleeping the right way, eating the right way, doing the right things, they're speaking it to each other. And that's what's going to be the difference maker.
The difference indeed, and you talked about it, Coach. Discipline, accountability, the structure, the platform, kids being involved, coaches being involved. It's led you to have this program that you have today going into your 4th season.
Yes, sir.
At Miami Southridge with the most experienced team you've ever had, a true state contender. Final comments.
Man, again, truly blessed, man. I think it's I just can't help thank the supporters like yourself. People don't understand the relationships behind supporting ourselves as coaches in South Florida. It's one of the more difficult jobs. You can see other programs having speed bumps, having transitions, like you said, going into your 4th year, from my administration to some of the local media, just kind of supporting our kids. Because our mission statement is not football. We don't talk about championships. We don't talk about winning every single day, every single moment. We don't always talk about the end results or scores or yards. The goal is to make sure they're the best version of themselves every single day, that they get an opportunity to have football as a vehicle that gets them to college. And now college is a professional world. We're getting ready for the professional world. Men like yourself, ourselves, are getting these guys to become entrepreneurs in their own brand right now. It's 16, 17, 18. Days like this are the foundational pieces of their brands. And I can't thank you guys enough, because that's our goal at Miami Southridge football, is to make these kids the best that they can be, the best national football player that you can be, the best professional football player you can be. And I'm just lucky to be in the position I am with the kind of kids I have and support I have around me every single day.
Absolutely. We're blessed to have you. Hey, it goes down this year, Miami Southridge, Coach Pierre Senatus, Ridge Up, here at Football Hotbed Media Day. As you can see, they are focused. It's a hotbed world.